Welcome back, everybody. We now know it will be the Buffalo Bills playing the New York Giants in Super Bowl 25. Now, guys, we're about to show the highlights of that game. If you're at home and you're a fan, what should you be looking out for that the Bills are going to try and do to New York, and what is New York got to look out for next week?
I think the first thing that the Bills did was the no huddle, was the fact they came out, they had an upbeat tempo, and they came and spread the whole formation. There were 4 wide receivers with 1 back, and then they would take the 1 back and set him out of the backfield. That if you didn't have enough DBs, count the defensive backs. There wasn't enough for all the people, so then they set the running back out as a wideout, no backs. They were picking them apart.
Charles, what do you think they should look out for?
Well, I think it's definitely going to be a high-tempo, fast-paced. They won't just go the no-huddle the first series. They'll go the no-huddle the whole entire course of the game to try to tire people like LT and Carl Banks and the defensive line out. Also, the Bills have scored the most points of any NFL team this year, so expect a high-scoring game. The Giants have been able to keep the 49ers into a low-scoring game, but I don't believe it to happen this next week on Super Bowl Sunday.
All right, well, I know it's going to be a great game. And by the way, Jerry was wrong in his predictions of the 49ers game, and he's just now said he thinks the Bills are going to win this game. So now let's go to Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Our match commentators are Bill Walsh and Dick Enberg. And for me, I'd say keep a close eye on Thurman Thomas, as he could be the key against New York at the Super Bowl. Welcome back. The Raiders, on their second possession of the game, were forced to punt. The Bills have the ball. And this field goal completed the scoring on the day, 51-3. The Buffalo Bills win it, and the LA believe it. The crowd can't believe it, and they're on their way down to Tampa for Super Bowl 25. So, Jerry, how good are the Bills, and what about this game? 51-3 against the Raiders.
That was a real shock. I think probably in the Super Bowl, 2 things. You have teams that have artificial turf at home, Buffalo and the Giants, and they're playing on grass. I don't think that happens too often, that the artificial turf teams end up playing in a big game.
Charles, what do you think about the Buffalo Bills today?
I think they're a great ball club. I think they showed it all season long. They showed they can win the big one, and it should be a great matchup next week.
All right. Well, before we finish the program, we talk a little bit about predictions from these 2 chaps. We're now going to go back to Candlestick Park, and Gary's gone from the sidelines to the locker room.
Dave, you've already been there once with Chicago. You're going again. How does this one feel?
You know, this is special. You know, the entire year we've had one goal. And, you know, with the group of guys we have, you know, this entire year it's just been, you know, it's been almost Cinderella. Based on the players and the talent we've got, we expected to win, you know, and get to the Super Bowl, but you still have to go through the hard work and the perseverance, and we kept our focus. And I think that's the main reason we were able to obtain the victory.
Now, anytime you go to the Super Bowl, you don't need anything to make it extra special. But does it feel even sweeter, given that you've come into the home of the 49ers, you've beaten them on their own home ground, and you've done it with a backup quarterback?
Well, I tell you what, you know, Jeff Hostetler is no backup quarterback. You know, we've felt all along like we had a couple of starters, and you know, he played some great football for us. When he came back from the injury early in the game, we knew things were going to start to go our way. But, yeah, certainly it's sweet to win in the 49ers' backyard, but, you know, regardless of where the game was played, we had one mission, and that was to get to Tampa, and now we got to win this thing. And, you know, the great thing about it, now we've got an intrastate rivalry between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants. I don't know which way the governor's going to be pulling, but, you know, he has nobody to bet against.
Our American colleagues then had a chance to talk to the hero of the day.
Let me ask you first, Mr. Barr, about the kick and whether or not you had any doubts as you approached it.
It was a good kick, but I'll tell you what, this victory is for the guys. They worked so hard through training camp. They overcame so many obstacles. I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
I want to ask you about this field goal. Winds really weren't much of a factor down the field today, were they?
It was making them drift a little bit, but you can't ask for a nicer day in San Francisco. Usually it's really blowing hard.
And then Bill Parcells took the George Halas Trophy for his players. And I know that he is hoping to be lifting another trophy in a week's time. Jerry, it's the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Giants. I would like a prediction from you and really an idea of how you see the game developing.
That'll be the last trophy that he lifts. He won't have a chance at the other one. The Buffalo Bills will beat him, and they'll beat him being wide open and throwing the football and running the no-huddle offense. And the bottom line is the Giants can't score. There's no offense, and you can't continue to win without putting points up sooner or later. Buffalo will get some points with a great back, a good quarterback, with a no-huddle, and the Giants, their victories are over. That's the last win they'll have for this year.
Well, Charles, I don't want you to straddle the fence like Jerry has. I want a real prediction.
He straddled the fence? Wow. I believe also that the Bills will win. I think, you know, Dave Jurison talked about a Cinderella season. I think it's been a Cinderella season for the Buffalo Bills, and you can't end it on a losing note, and I don't think they will.
All right, well, I'm also going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
I hate to agree with you. Can we switch that?
But, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks for having us, buddy.
Thank you, Charles. Sure. And that concludes our coverage of the championship games. Our next program is our final Red 42 of the year, which you can see at 5:30 Friday night or 12:30 Saturday lunchtime. Then next Sunday night, starting at 10:50, we have our grand finale of the season, the New York Giants against the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25. And Dan Marino will be one of my guests. If you haven't already done so, invite a football novice to join you, as it promises to be the best Super Bowl we've seen in years, and it will be nice to have some rookies for next year's coverage of American football here on Channel 4. For those of you under parental guidance, or work the next day, or that just couldn't keep their eyes open, we will have a highlight program of the Super Bowl next Monday night from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Now tonight we leave you with some memories of the season and a list of the folks that have knocked themselves out to bring you all the games. So until next time, from Jerry, Charles, Gary, myself, and all the crew, good night.